Hari Om. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Yatah Sarvani Bhutani Pratibhanti Titani Cha Yatraiva Pasamamayanti Tasmai Satyatane Namaha. Jnata Jnanam Tatha Jnayam Drashta Darsanadesav Karta Hetuh Kriya Jasmat Tasmai Jnamtyatane Namaha. Surante Sikara Jasmat Ananda Sambare Vano Sarve Sam Jivanam Tasmai Brahmanandatane Namaha. Brahmanandatane Namaha. Vedodadhim Samanmatya Jnanaratnam Samudritam Yena Dasmai Vasisthaya Gurunam Gurave Namaha. Vasistha Bhagavan ki Jai. Sadguru Bhagavan ki Jai. Satchidananda Bhagavan ki Jai. Sabda Brahma ki Jai. Saraswati Maharani ki Jai. Jagavasithji Bhagavan ki Jai. Hari Om. We are discussing Yoga Vasistha Nirvana Prakaran, and first half the 81st chapter. In that, till now we have discussed the story of King Sikhidhwaj and his queen Chudala. Chudala was a realized soul. She wanted to have the power of walking in the sky to meet different subtle bodies. Something she had the idea. So she started practicing something. So what was it? Vasistha, the great Guru, who knows everything, he explains to Rama all the details, elaborate details of sky walk, how one walks in the sky. In that we have discussed the supreme power, first factor. Supreme power is the root of all these actions and reactions, everything. So, without understanding where from this, the absolute power, which is known as the the para pasyanti, para pasyanti, madhyama, vaikhari, in 4 phases, all the sound, that is energy, it becomes audible. And prana, the air, which is the vital power in the body, which works all through the body. Every nerve system is worked by, activated by prana, and how the prana does different functions in the body by taking different names, different forms, and activates the whole body system through the nerve network of nerves. That also we have seen, and all these together, sound and our energy working system, vital energy, which is known as prana, all these together, the supreme power is called the Kundalini Shakti, and that also how it activates throughout the body, and everything in detail we have seen. All these are necessary for spacewalk. First of all, we have seen what is space, which is outside, that is inside also. The heart of hearts is called the sky of consciousness, awareness, and in that how all these Kundalini power, or all these prana and the sound, they work, that everything we have discussed. And also, regarding this, when we were discussing on the working system of the body, so at that time, naturally we have to discuss on some disorderness in the body, that means diseases and its cure also. And then how are the different powers to be the smaller than the smallest and greater than the greatest, Anima and Mahima, all these supernatural powers obtained by yogic practices. The yogis do everything. In this way, how do they do? And how this power is activated by itself, all these we have discussed in detail, almost as detailed as we could. And what else? So all these are concerned with spacewalking, because when we discussed, we have seen it is part and parcel of the spacewalking, because spacewalking is required, is done when the body becomes very light, and that is possible by pranayam. We have seen also the system of pranayam a little, and then also the Vaishvanar, the fire produced by the prana and apana, how does this prana, the whole power, digests food and supplies to the body, and how it goes on transforming from one to the other. All these also we have seen. The fire and the air and the sound also, everything. Now this fire also, we saw something. See, fire means its nature is light and heat. It has these two, they have influence over all the objects around it and whatever comes in touch of it. So this fire itself is also responsible for the working system of the body, everything. And don't forget, whatever is there inside the body, that is outside also. So universal body has become smallest one, and we have become the toys or puppets in the hands of the Absolute. This heat, when it becomes more, we call it hot. When this heat is reduced to minimum most something, that means temperature. Temperature sometimes goes high. We think now it is 50 degrees Celsius. It is unbearable heat, and same thing slowly comes down, calms down, and a time will come at this morning hour, you feel it is minus something. It is heat only. The more heat, we know it is warm, but if there is less heat, considerable less, it goes minus, in minus, below zero. So that way we call cold. The same fire has got heat and cold together. And this is how the sun becomes moon, the coolest, the source of all the nectar and soothing, all those soma and other drinks, or the liquids which soothes the whole universe. And the same heat, when it is gone high, that is called hot, and same heat, it has gone lowest, so it is called also heat. In the other word, it is cold, same heat becomes cold and hot. Similarly, we saw the fire means the sacrificial fire, how it supplies the needs of the gods in subtle form by pushing up, by making the object very subtle. In that way the gods enjoy the needful and they sanction the desired object of the person who has done the worship. In this way, we have seen the last chapter vividly. On the basement of skywalk. That is the root cause. And we have also seen the relationship between the sun and moon, how the sun becomes moon and moon becomes sun. Just as the heat becomes cold, cold becomes hot, similarly sun becomes moon and moon becomes sun. Only enhancement and reduction, that is the process. So Ramji asked, Guruji, why are you discussing all these unnecessarily? What use of all these? So Vasistha ji explains, हे श्री राम जी, जहाँ मुख से बाहर सूर्य से ग्रस्त हुई ध्रुवा नामक सोम की 16वीं कला प्राण में उगल दी गई, कलाओं में पूर्ण होकर क्षण भर में पूर्व दिशा में पूर्णिमा के चंद्र की तरह एक बित्ते की तैयार ही हो जाने से वहीं पर बाह्य कुंभक से आप स्थिर हो जाइए. अब we were discussing so many different aspects of the object, our subject, how many kinds of different aspects help us to walk in the sky. So he says how to stop the wind, which is the helper or coordinator or the manager, director and prompter of the whole body working system, that is prana. When prana becomes hot, it naturally goes up. And we have seen how it goes up and it goes leaving this body when it becomes hot. And we know when there will be friction in the prana and apana, then there will produce the heat, and due to heat the prana becomes uh, ready to go out, and it gets a way out of the brain and it goes upward. Upward means it tries to become all-pervading. And when it travels about 12 finger measures, then there is a place called Sodasa. भूल गए सब. It is called Sodasant. Sodasant. Yes. So it is above the head, 12 finger measures, and that spot will be called Sodasant. And there, for some time, very little time, the prana has to stop. So at that time, for a fraction of a second, it stops. There is a, just as we go by bus, somewhere we are going, traveling somewhere a long distance, and in between some stoppage comes, bus stations. The bus, though you don't get down, yet the bus has to stop there. Some other people, they will have some snacks, some little tea and other things. In this way, that is a stoppage, a station of the prana. So prana stops there for a moment. At that time, Vasistha ji says, stop it forcibly for longer time. Now the road blockage is there, and stop the bus here and enjoy some breakfast and other things, chit-chat and enjoy here. In this Sodasanta space, what to do? That is the place where the individual in the form of prana who is going upward to the sky, because it has become heated up. Naturally it has to go up. So at that time, at that spot, this individual being, it has the capacity of having connection with the Siddhas. Siddhas means the subtler, powerful beings, the great ones. They live in subtler realms, and they are very, very helpful in keeping up the balance of the whole universe. To keep up balance, harmony. That way, at that place, Sodasant space, one has got the chance to meet all these subtler beings. And Vasistha ji said, Ramaji, oh Ram, if you want to have space walk, there you have to stop. तथा वहाँ पर कुछ कुंभक से आप स्थिर हो जाइए. Stop the prana and become steady there. तथा जहाँ हृदय काश में कलाग्रास द्वारा क्रमशः ग्रसित हो रहा चंद्रमा सूर्य के स्थान में पहुंचकर जैसे कि अमावस्या आने पर केवल यानी शुद्ध चित्त रूप ध्रुवा नाम की कल्पात्मक स्थिति से स्थित रहता है। वहाँ पर अंतः कुंभक से आप स्थिर हो जाइए। अंतः कुंभक से स्थिर हो जाइए। The prana is going up because of heat. It is heated up, and you have to stop at Sodasant after 12 finger measures. So how to stop there? You have to do kumbhak. Kumbhak means you have to do pranayam. So Vasistha says, inside the heart, you have to practice Antah Kumbhak. Inwardly also you have to practice stoppage of the vital air. So this stoppage will force the outgoing prana to stop there. How it is? Some family was going somewhere for a pilgrimage, and the smaller ones, they are naughty and also weaker children. So when the youngsters and the old people, they are elderly people, they are going fast, naturally the children, they keep behind, and sometimes some child sits there, I have to pass urine. What happens to the head of the group? What happens? Yeah, they have to stop there. They have to stop. The stoppage of the small child for some reason behind stops the whole group there ahead. Have you not observed it? Similarly, when in the heart, the remaining portion of the prana, of course it will be working. You are not going to die. Prana is not stopping working. So, if prana goes out upon and some, upon etc., udan etc., they keep on going working. So in the heart, when you stop everything, make kumbhak, antah kumbhak, they say, antah kumbhak, inward stoppage, then that will help the outgoing prana to stop there. Because connection is there, relation is there, so naturally it will stop. तथा जहाँ हृदय काश में कलाग्रास द्वारा क्रमशः ग्रसित हो रहा चंद्रमा सूर्य के स्थान में पहुंचकर जैसे कि अमावस्या आने पर केवल यानी शुद्ध चिद्रूप ध्रुवा नाम की कलात्मक स्थिति से स्थित रहता है, वहाँ अंतः कुंभक से आप स्थिर हो जाइए। In the heart, the sky of the heart, we have discussed how the prana starts working and how it goes out of the heart and prompts, give tendency to all these nerve networks to activate. And there was some place which is called Kala. It is named. It has got a name that is called Rayar. Dhruva. This word Dhruva, Suddha Chit Roop, it is called Dhruva. It is so unmovable. That's how it is called Dhruva. Dhruva means fixed or Sthirta. Dhruva. So what is that? That central point of the heart of hearts, our core of heart, that is so steady, by no means it can move. That is called the center of the whole universe. And there our pole star is fixed, eternally fixed. That self-effulgent center is known as Dhruva, which never moves because it is center. So that is named as Dhruva, and that is the pure-most state of the heart. And that also is understood from different angle. When we see some working system, then there will be two kinds of vision. One will be background and the other will be changing phenomena. And when it changes, the system changes, there will be always a gap between two. Naturally there will be gap. I showed you the card, our intermediate card. This is how the background is a heart of hearts, and it remains always unmovable and as steady as anything. It never moves, but on that the changing working system goes on activating. So what happens? In between there is some gap, and that gap is supported by the background which is never changeable. That is called Dhruva. Constant.
Swamiji, that is the center of the universe or source of the universe?
What is the difference between source and center? Come on. What is the difference?
There is no difference, then it is the same.
So it is same. Center means the source.
No, but normally there is an association to a physical center.
It is every way you can see it. Any way, every way, all the way, you are free
Because
to...
we cannot, Swamiji, because we cannot say there is a particular edge to the universe, or there is an end or a beginning. We can't say there is a particular center, that we can't assign a fixed center to the universe.
Don't say. Who is forcing you to say? Who is forcing you to say, tell like this? Don't say. Arey bhai, everything is imagination, keep quiet. Everything is imagination only. Whatever we are doing, everything as per the imagination of the Creator, we are going within it. So, it can be seen from 1,000 different angles. Just as you said it is source, I say it is center. What difference is there? There is no difference. You see it from your angle and name it as you like, no objection. There is no question of difference or seeing the contradiction. Nothing. As you think, that is right. Because everything is thoughts only, imagination only. You have got your right to think. I have got my right, human right, to think. So everything is going on in imaginary process only. You can see it from thousands of different angles and you can take it for granted. Everything is nothing. Okay?
Yes.
So this is how, if you stop the prana there in the center, that stoppage will force the outgoing prana to stop outwardly. That is called antakumbhak, and you have to do bahya kumbhak at that point. The central point is called dhruva and the outward point is called shodasant. Shodasant. अब अरे अर्धरचक अच्छा रेचक, हाँ रेचक ना। अब अर्धरचक या रेचक या अर्धपूरक से मध्य में दोनों ओर से प्राण के निरोध द्वारा बिंब और प्रतिबिंब की तरह उनकी तुल्य रूपता कहकर धारणा कहते हैं। धारणा जो कुंभक, धारणा टू become steady, dharana to hold, holding. Here, how to stop it? He is giving you the picture of the rechak and purak. Purak is filling up and rechak is throwing out. So this is what always we do. Breathing system, we throw out the impure wind and we take the pure wind from outside. And how it happens, that also we have discussed how it happens, why it should stop there. What is the cause? What is the cause of stopping there outside? Come on. Why Rechak should stop at the 12 finger measures and it should come back. Why?
Limit.
Pardon?
Limit.
What limit? Everything has limit. Why? What is that limit? Why it is limited there?
साइकिल चलने के लिए,
Huh?
साइकिल चलने के लिए, अगर वो उससे बाहर चलेगा तो ये वाला साइकिल ही नहीं चलेगा प्राण पर।
अरे कुछ अपने मन से कुछ जोड़ जाड़ के धाबा मारो। हाँ? धाबा मारो कुछ लग जाएगा। Not so. Yesterday we discussed so minutely and so vividly. See, the same fire, now also we were discussing the temperature, the same fire goes to the temperature, called temperature, goes to 50 degrees, 60 degrees, 100 degrees Fahrenheit centigrade, and it goes down minus wise, below zero, goes so far, the 50, minus 60, let it go as long as it can. Minus 200 degree Celsius. So what happened? The same thing has a both way movement, and zero upward is called hot, zero downward is called cold. Different name, but the thing is same. Similarly, the same wind air working system is called Rechak and Purak, and after the Rechak goes out, it has to cool down, because inwardly there is fire, prana, apana, they fight against each other. Every moment there is friction. Vaishwanar, everywhere it digests the essence of food. Everywhere. The Vaishwanar only makes the food essence into blood, blood into flesh, flesh into skin. In this way, body is full of heat. So, when it goes, it was inside, it was hot. When it will go outside, it will naturally become cold. That is called Rechak. Rechak has to become cold. And a point will be there where it becomes completely cold. And from there, just as we are going downward, minus 50, minus 60, minus, there will be somewhere where from it will start again becoming warming up. So that is that point where the Rechak gets down completely, and then it starts warming up. So slowly it will come inward. That is called Purak.
So while outside coming in, it is becoming warmer.
Normal.
अभी जो रेचक में है बाहर 12 इंच का,
Slowly it will cool down.
अंदर आ रहा है तो जब भी
Same thing after stoppage, when it comes backward, means inward. Slowly it gets warm up, and then when it reaches the heart, it gives up it maintains the body temperature. Understood now? And same thing Rechak sometimes is called Purak from different angle of vision. When it goes out from nostrils, end of the nose, then only it is called Rechak. Inside it is not called Rechak, from different seers. And outside it will be Rechak. Rechak will go up to 12 measures, and then it will come back also 12 measures, and then both going out and coming in, both are called Rechak, because it is outward. And when they enter or they are inside the nostrils, then they are called Purak. Same Rechak which we say Rechak, and we say different than Purak. And Purak is different from the outside till the heart, it is called Purak. But half. The other seers say half be away from the nostril is called Rechak only. Our half Rechak and half Purak is total Rechak, because it is outward. And when it enters in, our half Rechak and half Purak is Purak for him. Yes, it is. Everybody's different vision and different naming. What difference is there? But one thing we have to be alert, we have to be attentive to see when this Rechak or Kumbhak, that prana is moving, always moving element will have breaks every now and then. Without breaks, it cannot move out. And that break is called the juncture, the gap. So behind this break, there is the continuity. So here, every moment that break is called stoppage. Every moment one is doing kumbhak. So minute to see and to understand. So, Kakabhusundi used to say, I meditate on that kumbhak, and my kumbhak is continuous. Eternal kumbhak. That gap is always there, because prana has to move. So how minute and how subtle it will be. And on that the yogis meditate, and they never die, because they are steady doing kumbhak. If it moves, then there will be some end. Then they will die. If it doesn't move, the constancy is life, and that is the absolute truth, the background.
So if Rechak has a Shodashan, Purak has some limit?
No, we shall discuss it afterwards. After Shodasant, what happens? And what do you think by spacewalk? That is completely different. We think you will be going somewhere to 1,000 feet high or 1 kilometer high, just like our aeroplanes move 40,000 feet, 50,000 feet, or generally the helicopters move by, say, 1,000 feet, 2,000 feet high. So this is not called height of our so-called understanding. This is not the height. Height is gross to subtle, subtle to gross. That is called height. The subtlemost is innermost. And yet, at the same time, the subtlemost is all-pervading, so it is outermost also. Are you following, sir? The subtlemost is to be the center, and the innermost, isn't it? Subtlemost means innermost. That means the center of everything. That means the Anuranyan. And same thing will be, because it is subtle, so it has to expand, because it is subtle. So it will be all-pervading, so greater than the greatest. That is to be understood. So higher than the highest, and the lower than the lowest, that is center. That is how Vedas said, Anuranyan Mahato Mahyan. Same thing, one thing only. Of course, that is also. Yes, no, that can be put, that wheel can be put on my finger. This is the, I will be Chakradhar. Jantra Rudhani Mayaya. Maya is all-pervading, and nil also, zero also. Zero because it is not there. Outer and inner both. If it is not inner, then it will not be center. It is 360 degree, akhanda mandala akaram. Everywhere it is spreading out. So greater than the greatest, and smaller than the smallest. Then only it will be one. And in that, everywhere the stoppage is there. Because the background is the truth, and the changing phenomena is the working system, the creative system.
Swamiji, how can something that is greater than the greatest also be smaller than the smallest?
This is what I was explaining. Did you not hear it? Huh? Go to physics and try to do research. You have to contemplate. This is what I was explaining now. The physics, laws, law of nature. The smaller means it is subtler. Here again, the smaller means is subtler. This is understood. Subtler means it must be central. And that central is smaller than the smallest, because we can go to any length, any distance inside that center. That is the center of the black hole. That is, they say, there is no movement again, and that is called the event horizon. You cannot think even that much subtleness. The horizon of events, event means thinking, doing, all these, time and space is not there, they cannot reach there. That much subtle, and that will be one pointed, smaller than the smallest. And because it is smaller, because it is its center, center will have periphery, the diameter, what is that? No. Circumference around it, it has to, so that is expansion. And where is, how much one center can expand? Is there any limit that this much only it can? So greater than the greatest, that will be the best word which we can use, which has got no meaning also. Then only you go beyond the meaning and no meaningness. No words can, no speech can reach there. That is how you have to understand. The smaller will expand because it is subtle. So naturally we see every subtle things, they are more voluminous and more expansive, more expanded, and that's how the truth is all pervading. Everywhere it is, and everywhere there is a center. Because it is subtlemost, everywhere you will find a center. This is how this useless mind can go up to that. Beyond that, there is no permission, no permission. Then it becomes ati prashna. Prashna, your doubt, your question is up to that, however, as much as our intellect can go. Beyond that, there is no question, no answer. That is the everything, whatever you say, look at it anywhere. But our point was the movement has got breakage. Without break, it cannot go ahead. So that is called the gap, and then only it can move. And in that gap, it is called sandhya. Sandhya, the gap, the juncture, and behind it the absolute constancy, which is the background, and that is how the yogis, when they practice this pranayam, every now and then you are doing kumbhak without your awareness, and if that kumbhak is stoppage, is continuous, then everything is done. Everything is done, and then only one can keep quiet, because wind is, our breath system is not working, it is stopped. So it is eternal kumbhak, and for some time we can do it. So kumbhak is not only outward at one point and inward at one point. Kumbhak is also continuous. Are you able to catch something. When going everywhere there is stoppage. Without stoppage it cannot go ahead. So stoppage means kumbhak.
I can understand the boundary, Swamiji, but in Kumbhak, how can there be a boundary? Sandhya, when you say, yes, that is quite clear.
Pardon?
When you say Sandhya,
Sandhya.
it's quite clear.
Yes.
And it's a very subtle thing when you can't tell the difference between the day and night.
Yes.
So, but in Kumbhak, how can you imagine? At least I can't imagine.
It is, of course, very subtle to understand. It is not so easy to understand. By argument only we can go little far to understand this, and then the mind has to stop. When it stops, then only one can understand. When a mind is working, at that time we cannot understand this continuous kumbhak. Because when the mind stops and prana stops, then only you experience what is stoppage, and then you can understand how it is continuous.
But at constant Kumbhak, life can go on.
Yes, that is how these Chiranjeevis, eternal beings, they go on living for long, and whenever, and these people who die at their will, our Bhishma Pitama and others, they have control over that. Whenever they like, they will do anything and everything. Pardon? Kumbhak mein movement kahan? Kumbhak is continuous, it is not one point stoppage. That is what is understood and experienced by the yogis, and they live on Kumbhak only, and they live on as long as they like. But some people who live for 200 years, 300 years or 1,000 years, that is somehow by pranayam also, and by many other methods by the power of tapasya and food control. Food means they can take food out of air, sun, moon, water, anywhere from they can accumulate energy. We get energy from the food, gross food, but that subtle energy they get ability to acquire from 5 elements outside, and they go on living for certain long period, as long as they can hold it. But eternal beings, they have to depend upon the eternal kumbhak. There is no food, there is no movement, there is no cause and effect, then only they can live eternally. Samadhi. Sahaj Samadhi, they say. Common, the ordinary Samadhi state, it is prolonged eternally. We cannot think of it and how to try. So better to go from initial stage, starting point, come to LKG. Don't think of these research matters to be a doctor. Not now. Not now. Have patience. Somehow, come on. that is called Dhruva, where Dhruva naam ki kalatmak. Kala means the portion. Kala. Kala means unit. And from that only we have started time. Kalana. And that's how one starts thinking. The moment you think, there is time. If you don't think, there is no time. Kala means the smallest unit. So that is just like a subtlemost center. Kala means the smallest unit. Just as we are discussing on Panchak, the group of fives, the Tan Matra, Matra, Kala, all these are units, smallest particle. So he says, कलात्मा की स्थिति में स्थित रहता है, वहाँ पर अंतः कुंभक से आप स्थिर हो जाइए. Outside and inside, this much we can understand. Bahya kumbhak we generally understand grossly. The breathe stops, that is kumbhak. So why to go so deep into matter? And inwardly also we stop for some time. That is inward kumbhak. So both way, stop above and stop within. अब अर्धरेचक या अर्धपूरक से मध्य में दोनों ओर से प्राण के निरोध द्वारा बिंब और प्रतिबिंब की तरह उनकी तुल्य रूपता कहकर धारणा कहते हैं. धारणा पकड़ के रखना कैसे? How to hold it? Dharana means holding, and pratyahar means to withdraw. To withdraw and to hold on the center, that is yogic practice. So when you have withdrawn and you have hold it, where to hold and how to hold. How to hold. The trick, just as we saw the trick, why it stops at all? Because it loses its coldness or heat, so it has to stop, because it comes to zero only. Zero means stoppage. That's how outwardly and inwardly.
Withdrawn from the senses.
From the senses and sense objects, and wherever the mind goes. Yes. So now, just as we have seen the outward stoppage and the inward stoppage because of its end, that is the end, zero, then it has to grow again. Growing means uday, rising up. Yesterday we were discussing on sunrise, sunset, and moonrise and moonset. There the sun is rising, that means moon is setting. And when the full moon is rising, the sun has to set. End of one is beginning of the other. This is how he says. dharana, how to hold it. When both become one, naturally it gets hold. How to hold? Generally, how to hold two pages together? Common thing, put some glue, apply some glue, it becomes one. Isn't it? This is called holding. common, common knowledge, general knowledge. When two become one, it is tightly hold.
So dharana we can define that.
Dharana, when the bimb and pratibimb, the object and the reflection, they become one, then the bimb is within, pratibimb is outside our so-called imaginary forms. They are created in the heart and they are projected outside, and we withdraw the outgoing tendencies and withdraw and hold it. Where to hold? Both must become one. That is reflection, and here is the thought, the original thought. So both should be chipko andalan.
In totality, the confirmed path of the thought, we can say dharana.
Pardon?
The path of our confirmed ideas where we can keep our mind stable, that is dharana.
Yes, from that angle. And from other angle, if you see, when the thought is created and is moving out, it gets associated with the object of the sense, isn't it? And that movement is stopped. Movement is stopped means the object has become one with the thought. That is how the withdrawal process is done. Withdrawal process and that object and the thought, they must be one. That is called holding.
Right.
And here he is using the words for example only. When the object and the reflection both get together and there is no difference, then that is called dharana. This is called dharana. So simple. There is no difference.
It's like Swamiji merging a small eye with big eye. Ego with self.
That is also, from your angle, that is true. The ego also merges there. No work, dharana means dhriti, there is no movement there. So ego also stops. Ego will appear when there is activities. If there is no activity, no movement, then where is ego? Isn't it? But that ego may happen, may be steady on the dharana point, on the center. It will be constant. Ego will be constant, not moving. That will remain for some time and then it has to disappear.
Till now we are thinking that the dharana is, as per Patanjali, the way of concentration.
Bhai, same thing I hear it. Concentration means steadiness. And that is here dharana. The words are different, terms are different. And according to the terms, the process we analyze. According to the terms, we analyze the process, how it is seen and named.
My daily life, how to apply of dharma, my daily routine,
How to?
apply of dharma, how to apply.
What do you mean by daily life?
Daily life and wake up and
Pardon?
bath. And
Huh?
wake up and go to bath and something going on.
Who is going on? Me means?
I am self.
And the I am is always constant dharana, that is called dharana. While you are eating, are you there or not? When you are sleeping, are you there present or not? When you are going, you are going. You are there always, that is called dharana. Okay? You are present everywhere. You are not changing. So that is called dharana. Keep the mind there. Now, अब अर्धरेचक या अर्धकुंभक के मध्य में दोनों ओर से प्राण के निरोध द्वारा बिंब और प्रतिबिंब की तरह उनकी तुल्य रूपता कहकर तुल्य रूपता they become same. That's how the reflection and the object they appear the same. उनकी तुल्य रूपता कहकर धारणा कहते हैं. See, another thing from other angle of vision. Let us. He says the reflection and the object become one. Okay? That then only it is called dharana, holding, steadiness. Now, my hand is different from me or not? My hand is different from me. That's how I am seeing the hand, isn't it? I am able to see my hand. That means hand is different from me. Now, yeah, I am not the hand. I see the hand. Okay. So the hand is object and I am the seer and the seeing process is by the eyes. Okay? Triad. The doer, doing and done. Three aspects of me only. I am the seer, I am the seeing process and I am the object also of the seeing action. So three are within me, that is called dharana. If there is no such process, if no seeing, no object and no seeing process, no seer, then one, that is called dharana, they have become one. Hand and seeing process, eyes and myself, body, they are only one. From that sense it is called dharana. From other sense it is called triad and working system and the world, relative world. The relative world is there within. The seer, seen and seeing object, three are in one only. One is looking at itself.
It is Triputi.
Yes, just as I see my, something has happened here. Last evening, I got some wound here. Oh, I have to apply some medicine. Where to apply?
I see this object and here and being
Both the seer, the doctor, and the medicine, and the patient, all the three are in me. I am everything. This is how, when it becomes one, that is called holding. That is called steadiness. No expansion, no projection, no action, projection, expansion, action, nothing is there.
all one.
Yes. That is called dharana.
स्वामी जी कुछ जोक सुनाना चाहते हैं आप?
Pardon?
कुछ बीच में जोक भी
जोक मारो नहीं यार, मारते नहीं.
अभी हमारा क्लास बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग होता है. एवरी डे आवर क्लास इज सो इंटरेस्टिंग. इसको और इंटरेस्टिंग बनाने के लिए एक आइडिया है.
हाँ बनाए.
अभी इतना सब लोग सवाल करते हैं, तो सबसे बेस्ट सवाल को आप इनाम देना चाहिए. इंटरेस्टिंग सवाल.
हाँ.
इनकरेज भी होते हैं. वो अभी सब वो भी शर्मा जी, हमारा सतीश जी और वो बालाजी ऑनलाइन भी सवाल करते हैं. संतोष जी.
हाँ,
बेस्ट
तो इनाम देंगे.
क्वेश्चन होता है जैसे मैथ.
हाँ, और हमारा गुरुजी सतीश जी आपके साथ तो हमेशा पूछताछ चलता रहता है.
टक्कर के आज सवाल हो रहे सब.
हाँ हाँ,
सवाल कर रहे सब.
और प्रश्न उत्तर चलता रहता है.
उनका इच्छा है कि सवाल करने का.
कमान
बोल रहे टाइम हो गया.
नहीं, टाइम नहीं हुआ. टाइम नहीं हुआ, अभी होगा कभी. अभी नहीं हुआ. कुछ पुरस्कार मिलेगा. आई विल गिव यू सम रिवॉर्ड. द बेस्ट क्वेश्चनर.
ऑफ द एवरी डे एवरी वीक.
Yes, yes. First, second, third, and certificate also. And I shall give you certificate also. I have kept ready for yoga students and some for 3 for yoga Vasistha students. 5 for yoga student and 3 for yoga Vasistha student. Come on.
So Maharaj, this is from a logical and analytical point of view.
And other views.
360 degree. So how do we understand like energy and an expression of an energy? How do we differentiate an energy? Because if we say relatively in physics, we say potential energy. Potential energy and energy at a point. Kinetic energy. The energy is in motion. So prana is a vital energy, and breathe we use inhale and exhale to have a control over the vital energy. But in relatively we see this energy as an expression which is only outward expression only ever.
Only outward.
It is
Does
only-
it not come
No,
inside?
No, should be.
Your prana doesn't come inside?
So no, mostly it is seeking an outward expression,
Yes.
right?
And other is inward
So
expression.
in that case, so it is said that instead of seeking for an outward expression, get it towards inside and hold. So should we understand this energy as capacity or capability, tendency, which has got both inward and outward expression as well?
Hey Bhagavan, when you went to Uttarakanshi yesterday and you came back to ashram, purchased something, came back to ashram. While going and while coming, where are you moving? Where are you moving? Or you are steady? Come on.
I was in the car and then I was walking.
Car you were sitting.
Yes.
Car was moving.
Yes.
Ah.
And then there, after I left the car, I walked. Walking was there, so movement was there in relative.
And when you came back, you didn't leave the car, you were sitting in the car.
No, left the car.
And when you went in the car, into the car, so were you able to walk some distance and get into the car? Did you go by walking outside up to the car or not? And leaving the car, did you come back by walking or not?
Yes.
That is what I am asking. Sitting in the car also was moving, that is your movement.
Swamiji, here legs were walking, not higher.
Were you moving or not by going out and coming in?
Yeah. This is
Both were movement, or one was stoppage, other was movement. Come on. Whether it is backward or it is forward, it is projection or ejection, whatever it is potentiality or it is what is called dermality or whatever you say. Everything is one only, your movement, projection and withdrawal, everything is movement only. Prana is moving. Prana means movement. If it stoppage, it stops, then it is not called prana. Just as I told you, when the movement is there, one movement is called prana, the other movement is called mind, the other movement is called creation, the other movement is called vasana or desire, the other movement is called eating, drinking, sleeping and going. Different kinds of movement only. And when the energy is not moving, it is no more energy. Its name is not energy, its name is constancy. You just say potentiality or your, what is that, kinetic, all these are words. You have to understand only one is constancy, the other is movement. Two things. Movement is called energy, call it by any name, thousands of names. Kinetic and that potentiality or the CT, that is ET, all the 18 ETs and 1000 ETs, all are ETs. One ET is constancy, not ET. It is C. There is movability, here constancy. Two things are there only. The constancy is named in different ways. Kumbhak, now we are talking of Kumbhak. The same thing is known as the absolute truth. Same thing was told now, the dharana, the holding. Same thing, but different words. What is their difference between the constancy or the holding or the non-moving? What is there? What difference is there? Only words which makes you confused.
स्वामी जी एक डिमांड किया था एक जॉब के लिए, आप इटीज के बारे में बता रहे थे.
Pardon?
इटीज
Yes, it is. It is and this is siege.
तो क्लास में एक बच्चा है, वो वेलोसिटी शब्द प्रोनाउंस नहीं कर पाता, हमेशा बोलता है वेलोसिटी वेलोसिटी टेनेसिटी सब. इनसे कंप्लेन किया बार बार, सीख के आओ, कई साल हो गया, हमेशा वेलोसिटी वेलोसिटी. तो एक दिन टीचर बोला पिताजी को बुलाओ, क्या पढ़ाते घर वाले. अगले दिन सरदार जी आ गया, बोला यस मैम, ये आप अपने बच्चे को हम कब से कंप्लेन कर रहे हैं इतने साल से, तो एक शब्द नहीं बोल पाता है, तो वेलोसिटी को वेलोसिटी वेलोसिटी आप क्या सिखाते हैं. तो सरदार बोले सर क्या करे, वो छोटा बच्चा है, उसका कैपेसिटी ही इतना है.
वही हुआ ना जो बिहार में जब गए थे, नटूरे नटूरे तेरे फटूरे नटूरे. और वो क्या करे, हमारा क्या था वो टीचर छोड़ के ही जा रहा था. Anyhow, tomorrow we shall see further. We could not complete this chapter because these are very subtle points to be understood. Then only we can understand how the prana stops and how it spreads, and then the body gets ability to move up or thisward, thatward, anywhere. It can move without walking or your common movements. It is something different movement. Of course, we move on the ground with some physical support. That is ground. And in the air, if you move, of course, we also move in the air. Don't you move? No, Guruji? Don't you fly in the air? No? When you remove your hind leg and put ahead, what happens to that leg? Does it go like this?
It's on air.
Huh?
On air.
On the air. So it is called space walking. On the ground. Are you crossing it or rubbing it on the ground? You have to raise it up.
Swamiji, while running,
Other is there, let it be. Let it be. One leg is walking in the air, the other will leg again. So because they are two, so turn by turn. And when you jump, forward jump, and when you jump, high jump, long jump, so you are walking, space walking, and jump from the tree, and jumping into Ganga. And see how spacewalking will be there, water working.
This example, going by car, he was stationary, his energy was zero, kinetic, etc. And it was the car which was moving. So with respect to the car, he was stationary.
Yes.
I'm standing outside, I know both as a whole are moving. But individually, he's not moving. He's not spending his energy.
Of course, up to some extent you can find the difference. That is where we bring our Ratha Parampara. If you analyze in that way, I will analyze in still further elaborate way. Car was not moving. You cannot prove the car was moving. All the parts of the car was fixed into it. Nothing was moving.
No, the car as an entity, as
Whole thing as an entity. Come on. The whole thing is an entity. Whole thing was moving because the ground, compared with the ground, the steadiness. That's how you could say the car was moving. If the aeroplane will be going at that time, the car will not be seen as moving. It is comparative and relative, and without comparison, nothing moves. That is called relativity. And that is where our Ratha Parampara comes. Nothing moves. Only when we compare one with the other, between the two, one appears as if moving. When it is compared with the still quicker movement, then that appears to be stable. That is what happens. The whole world is like that. So when the car was moving, you say the car was whole entity. So when he was inside the car, is it not within the entity? So he has to move. No, he is one with the car. You cannot say, in that way the driver is not moving, the handle is not moving, the wheel is not moving. Then who was moving? Your physics fails when our philosophy starts. Here nobody is moving, none moving. Then only we can reach the absolute constancy. Then only we can keep quiet.
The motion of the earth on which we survive.
Yes.
That's moving. Even if we are stationary, we are moving.
Relatively everything is being done. Without relationship, without comparison. Without comparison, we do nothing. Neither we eat, nor we do anything, nor we sleep, nor we talk, nor we do anything. Everything goes on between two. Our movement, our eating, drinking, and sleeping, talking, thinking, seeing, hearing, everything is comparative only. Without that, you are nothing. You are nothing. Your identity is not to be found. And that is how we reach the absolute. That is the way to contemplate. Anyhow, today this much, and tomorrow maybe we can finish it.
मूवमेंट के बारे में बता रहे ना, माता जी बता रहे हो, थोड़ी आर्ट मूवमेंट के बारे में
जी
सदाजी थ्योरी ऑफ मोशन आपको मालूम है?
नहीं।
सदाजी का थ्योरी है मोशन के बारे में। वो बता रहे हैं कि लूज मोशन कैन नेवर बी डन इन स्लो मोशन। सदाजी थ्योरी ऑफ मोशन क्लियर।
Loose motion is impossible in slow motion. Yes. Sardars are very great scientists. Great scientists.
योगों से अंडरस्टैंड करने के लिए दो मानते हैं, एक स्वामी जी और एक मिश्रा।
बीच में पूछते रहो, मथाबाजी करना चाहिए। हरि ओम। पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। सद्गुरु भगवान की जय। सच्चिदानंद भगवान की जय। शब्द ब्रह्म की जय। सरस्वती महारानी की जय। जो श्री जी भगवान की जय।